you again. Good afternoon, and thank you very much for coming and participate. Okay, thank you everyone. Okay, thank you. Again, I'm going to talk briefly about the teaching of the precious kindness, compassion teacher, and therefore again we're going to reactivate our beautiful motivation of joy and appreciation and bodhicitta. And then together with the Vajra realization or the teaching, which is three Vajra states, bring all those beautiful motivations, kind of sizzling status, or illuminating status, and then we begin to reflect the teaching. And now, teaching, today I'm going to talk briefly about again among the four renunciation or Ngimyong number Ye. And today among the Ngimyong number Ye, I'm going to talk about the Samsara. So what I did this last time or yesterday and all that, I've been talking about the precious life, the human body, and then impermanent, and cause and effects are inevitable, or karma is inevitable. And then samsara has difficult. Today we talk samsara. Samsara is in its very old, how translated in ancient time or in the 8th century, those great eminent translators translated as a korwa. Korwa means spinning, or one is rotating. That is really korwa. So that means korwa is always rotating or spinning. This rotating is generally, of course, we can think that everything is rotating. Externally is rotating or spinning, inwardly is spinning. Nothing is really stopped or stays. It's all on the move. All is rotating. But this time mainly is talking about the inner beings who live in the samsara. They are spinning. Why they are spinning? Because the cause of the karma or negative emotions. And in its way, in the teaching said, lete nyumungwa. Karma and a negative emotion makes rotating. That means no, we can't settle ourselves. Never settles. This samsara, when it's rotating, it's not just rotating casually or kind of like in a leisurely kind of that, but always there is challenges, ups and downs, and then middle. It's just continually always there. There's nothing is that you can rely. And that also is one way good. Bad is also not something that you can rely all the time. Bad is changing, good is changing, neutral is changing, everything is changing. So that's how really this samsara is. And this samsara has, if we talk about the samsara, or as the teaching said, it has two, and we can make in two different ways. First, the general troubles of samsara, and then specifically troubles of samsara. And now, what this samsara, who are the samsaras? And this is again, if I say, kind of in 4 or 5 different ways. What is the place of samsara? What is the place of samsara? Who is rotating? What is the cause of rotation? What's spinning? And when it begins rotating, and how is it spinning or rotating? What are the examples of rotations or the spinning? Those are the 6 different points we can highlight of this samsara. Now, where we are spinning, or what is the place? Place of spinning or rotation is known as 6 realms. In the gracious teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni is teaching, samsara is not just only what we commonly know, or this human world, but there is, beside human world, there is 5 other realms of the worlds. Realms of the worlds, either word I think maybe we can use. So what are those? World of hell realms, world of the hungry ghost realms, and the worlds of the animal realms, and the worlds of the human realms, and worlds of the asuras, and worlds of the gods. World, W-O-R-L-D, I believe, the realms. That's what I'm talking of, the world. So there is 6 different worlds. That 6 different world or the realms is not reserved by any particular individuals and kind of selected group stays with that. No, it's rotations. That's the whole about its rotations. One who is in hell realm is not going to stay forever there. And the ones who are in the human realm, they are also not going to stay forever there all the time. Only know God's realm, asura, hungry ghost, animal realms. It is always rotating. So that means of all the beings of the 6 realms rotating in those 6 different realms, when they began to rotate, according to the gracious kindness compassionate teacher, Buddha said, from the beginningless times, no beginning, beginningless times. So that means, for example, now I'm here, in the 21st century, in the year 2020, I think. In April, I think, beginning of April, I'm here. But it's not just the first time I came here, or I've been here. I've been from the beginningless times. And how? Rotations, rotating, coming, always moving, came. I'm here now. And not just me, I'm giving examples. According to Buddha's teaching, we all are like the same. We all rotating. How are we rotating? Again, it's not knowingly we're rotating, and it's kind of well planned as rotating. We are carried by the force of the karma and the negative emotions without any our choice. But at the beginning, as I spoke yesterday, when we have the choice, what is the cause of this negative, such as karma and emotion? It's our mind. We have, when the negative karmas, negative emotions are not initiated, that time we have choice. We can make the difference, what we like to be. But once it's done, once it happened, then we have to follow the force of the karma in the emotions. There's nothing really can make change except practice. Practice. So that's how, from the beginningless times. What is the cause of these rotations? I already explained. I already said. Negative emotions, karmas are cause of the rotations or cause of emotions. Karmas and the emotions is one's own creations. Nobody else created and overloaded or dropped it to us, and then we have to carry that. No. It's our own creations. We created. So that is the force of the rotation, or that is the fuel of the rotator. Continues. How long this will be going to rotate, or how long we will be on this samsara? Endless. There is no end unless we stop. Individually, we stop. According to Buddhism, if we stop. By how? Stopping our negative emotions. When we stop the negative emotions, naturally it will stop the negative action, the karma. Then we are on the process to stopping the rotations. And we're going to have the end of the light at the tunnel, or end of the journey. That will happen. So that is long way unless we stop. Stop by practicing Dharma, simple ways to practice, meditating, cultivating positive attitude or the positive mind, love and compassion. What is example of rotations? That is the teaching said as like bees are flying, or what's called this, the flies in the jar. In the jar, when you put the fly in the jar, or when you put the bee in the big jar, even though they are flying, but they cannot go out of the jar. They are trapped in the jar. They go sometimes up, sometimes the down, sometimes the middle, and sometimes the whatever it is, never going to be able to go out. That's how we are really rotating in this samsara. Up and downs, all that. But what the cause of that? Again, I already mentioned, because of karma, negative emotions. Sometimes the kind of good positive attitude with mixed negative emotion, we take rebirth in the God's realms. And sometimes more negativity, and with that we take the rebirth in the lower realms. And mixture of those we take rebirth in human realms. Or according to those, the variety of the mixture of the negative emotion, the positive attitude, and that created the karma, and then we take the birth according to those different 6 realms. How long we have to stay there in each of those, in each period? That is according, again, their karmas. That could be like 5 years, 6 years, or 100 years, or more than that, or what according to that. Again, it will stay. And then again, we migrating, or we transfer, or we take rebirth. To that again, follow with the karma and our own deed. That is what general kind of understanding of the samsaras. Samsara, how those are. And then during that time, in the samsara, there is 3 principal troubles, or 3 principal kind of like difficulties, or challenges, or if I use the word, sufferings, or uncomfortables. 3 principles. Those are known as pervasive troubles, and erupting troubles, and trouble after trouble. If I translated word as trouble, or in other ways we can translate it as suffering. Pervasive sufferings, erupting sufferings, suffering after sufferings, or difficulty after difficulties. difficulty, trouble, suffering, uncomfortable, unpleasant situation, whatever we let the word use, it all can be almost the same. Same. But that is the tendency of the samsara. We cannot avoid it. And what means pervasive suffering? In the teaching it said, as long as you have the negative emotions, as long as you have the grasping, clinging, the ego clingings, that long, there is always hidden, pervasive troubles, hidden, pervasive, uncomfortables. That is doesn't no difference between anyone. Everyone has that. That is known as pervasive. It's pervasive. From the hell realm to all the God's realms, or from the asura realm to the human world, or animal realms, hungry ghost realms, every. Then erupting troubles are translated, or sometimes also translated as changeable suffering, changeable troubles. It's kind of occasionally coming. And that is kind of, for example, happening more in a human world. Human world is generally considered generally is beautiful realms. Is one of the three upper realms, higher standard realms. It is quite good, but they are also not really completely kind of free from the trouble. It's going to erupt it, coming, suddenly shooting troubles, sometimes unexpected, because tendency of the pervasive troubles there, therefore some occasion, conditions, circumstances come, it erupts, it comes. That's known as erupting troubles or erupting unpleasance. Trouble after troubles, or challenge after challenge, where that happening is mostly mostly or constantly is happening in the three lower realms. And hell realms, hunger ghost realms, and animal realms. There is constantly of that happening. Then is also not just only those three realms, but in human world we have so many of those troubles. Troubles. One trouble comes with trying to solve that problem, suddenly there's another trouble comes. Unexpected. Another trouble comes. One after another, there's no enough. Sometimes happen. Those are known as trouble after troubles. Those are the pervasive kind of shared by all the realms. Again, as I said, the pervasive suffering is kind of mainly kind of in God's realms. They don't have the gross suffering immediately. They kind of is pervasive, is hidden, kind of sleeping, doby status. Kind of in a way intermission status. But there can be. And human realm is the kind of more on changeable that trouble, erupting kind of status. Animal realm is a little more on, the lower realm, three lower realm is a little more kind of on that changing after changing troubles. Those are generally kind of like difficulty, challenges of the all six realms or the samsara go through. So that is general. Specifically, in each of those samsara or the realm has then their own kind of designated more highlighted troubles. Then those are, again, in the teaching said, for example, three lower realms. Realms we should always think in four these different ways. About the area where they are, the body, what they have, what kind of body they have, and what kind of like challenges they have, how long they are going to experience that. So that means we're going reflecting our mind. I mean, it's not just reflecting, but we highlight of 4 different ways of those lower realms situations. Place, and then their picture or the current feeling in the picture, and what troubles or the experience they're going, how long they're going to stay with that. 4 different ways. Everything of the 4 different that way. The first is the place of the 3 lower realms, particularly hell realms, is known as the place of the heart and core. It's heart and core. Core, area of core, area of the heart. That is the place they live. Heart is not just heart, kind of a temperature like 100 degrees, 110 or 115 or 90 degrees. That's not. A Korean teaching is 7 times more hotter than the fire. That is just the minimum of these elements. That hot. And then plus there is so many other difficult kind of features and areas, unpleasant situations, according to teaching. Really, so many different things. So that is the place, this place where they stay, happy stay. Their body, what are the kind of their bodies are? Again, so uncomfortable, so prideful, so sensitive, more sensitive than a small baby, infant baby, baby's skins. So sensitive, but yet so kind of prideful, kind of unpleasant bodies. Those are, they said, their features that they have to stay until whatever that is. And what kind of sufferings, difficulties? Constantly difficult troubles, according to teaching. Constantly troubles, very difficult, very trouble. Constantly. How long? According to teaching, many eons or thousand years, hundreds of years, almost there is no end. It's that stage. What is the cause of this world? According to Buddha's teaching, is karma. Mainly it is the anger, raging anger, reflecting that anger and disturbing so many beings by the anger. Greedy, self-important, and then the raging anger arises and disturbs so many beings. And that result is that's what's said. Then similarly, then one after another, I'm not going to go through all that. You can look to the there's so many beautiful books explaining detailing all that and translated into English, such as Words of My Perfect Teacher, Orgyen Menla Shalom. It's really, there's whole details, beautiful, all those explaining how those are going through. This is nothing but, again, each and individually they are experiencing through that. This is like the most difficult nightmares they go through. For example, while we're sleeping in a beautiful bed, calm, peaceful, beautiful house, beautiful room, and everything is perfect, beautiful, and suddenly had nightmare. And everything is completely confused. The area, perception is completely changed. Such as I'm using the examples. Everything is changed. Perception, consumption, everything is changed. Become dark, frightful, very timid, kind of like dense and very kind of helpless. And then went through the biggest nightmare. You went. And this, who's experienced that? That individually who are going through that nightmare, who are in that status. Similarly, the hell realm is like also that. Why that nightmare is? What is the cause of that? It's because of unknowing the one's own mind. And kind of making distance between subject and object. Object strongly regiment, and then kind of like you be completely crushed with that. And where is that? In our mind. Well, we are dreaming. We truly go through that. But when we wake up, what is that? Then we can say, thanks. Oh, wow, thanks. It is my dream. So good. We take deep breath. That's true. Really. That's it. So this hell realm experience, all this, it's like that. Our own creation, our own karma, our own deed, which is reflecting back to our own. It's not something that maybe alien is something that have to go through. Can be anywhere. I often think where human beings are always used. Also, for example, those animals. What are they going through all that? Boiling in the hot water, completely dropping in their lives. Or frying hot pans. Even they're making crying. Truly, this individual is going through the hell realms. So this is how it is all experienced, all that. It's not some area that we have to go. So therefore, this is what the samsara has, this all difficult troubles. And for that reason, and always the cause of this is what is known as negative emotions. Then, like hunger ghost has so many difficulties. Again, same place, body, and the troubles, and the duration of the troubles. Same thing. A little better than hell realms. And then animal realms. Animal realms, what is the troubles of the hungry ghost realm in the teaching often said? The hungry and the thirsty. That is like troubles of not finding food, troubles of not finding the water or drinks. Those are the troubles. And then similarly, the troubles of the human realms, or animal realms, is like dullnesses or stupidities, taking advantage by each others. Others, even the human world, human beings are using that. I mean, all that one after another. Those are the animal difficulties, animal realms. And then the human realms, the principally in highlighted troubles are the birth, getting old, sicknesses, death. And then between there is so many other things, not receiving or not fulfilling our wishes, losing our hopes and goals. And then kind of like things we don't want is happening. Things what we want is not happening. All those difficulties, troubles, kind of like challenges we go through. Those are kind of also can be in other different realms. Can be have that, but this is mainly in human realms. And Asura realm is in the teaching said they always had some fightings and arguing, quarrelings. And if the kind of always there is that competition, challenge, those troubles always exist. And the hungry God's realm always has troubles of the falling dawns. God's realm is always very pleasant, happy, peaceful, and everything is really perfect. Until the last kind of like life, they kind of end of toward the end of their lives, maybe I should, toward the end of their lives, then kind of this become uncomfortable. Otherwise, God's realm is God's realm, always pleasure. That's according to the teaching of the Buddha Shakyamunis. What in the teaching said? What are those? There is 5 different signs will come toward the end of their lives, and which means they're going to leave that world, or they're going to change is coming. It's change, sign of the changes. And the first is that in the God's realm, the features is so beautiful according to teaching, so beautiful, so perfect, glowing, bright, and with auras. But toward the end of their lives, then that kind of glory is dimming. That is shrinking. So kind of they become more dullness. And then second sign of the end of that end of their status, and then there is such as they don't have any smells on the body. Generally, God's realm don't have any smells of the body, but throughout the end of life, they have smells coming, and also they are sweatings. And then that is, and the third one is that they're always so happy wherever they go and wherever they stay, but somehow they don't feel so comfortable to the place stay or the thrones or whatever it is. That is another sign of the God that's kind of toward the end of the lives. And then another thing is then, because they have always beautiful ornament. According to teaching, they have so many ornaments, particularly kind of fresh flowers. They have beautiful flowers kind of decorated their bodies, but now those flowers are getting old. It's always so fresh, so shimmering, glowing that. But toward the end of their lives, then these flowers are getting old, kind of absolutely old. And then also their friends, they all kind of playing together with that. And the friends are, because of the situation, they're a little bit kind of distancing that. Those are known as the sign of the end of their life. And that is, according to the teaching, those are very challenging, difficult times. So that means in the samsara, there is no really kind of like permanent, that reliable places that we stay. So this is what the heart of samsara is. For those reasons, according to teaching, that we should make ourselves, like really set up kind of ourselves more goals and commitment and resolutions that I'm going to increase my joy, love, kindness, compassion, and activity related with that, and change the directions, change the rhythm of the movement of the karma. I'm going to do that because I'm going to follow with that. I'm going to take meaningful of these lives to benefit to myself, to all the beings. I'm going to bring more joy, more peace, more happiness, more love, more kindness, compassion for all the sentient beings according to my capabilities, and more calmer, more peaceful. When we have that attitude in our heart and mind, our action will be more calmer, more peaceful, more soothing, and more relaxed, and that is known as positives. That is Dharma, practicing Dharma. So that is my brief talk about the samsara. Samsara, again, more detail, you can read, such as teaching of the great Master Padma Rinpoche's words of my teacher, or from Zela Mishalom. That was so detailed and beautiful, and so other books too. So by that I completed really about explaining or went through of these 4 renunciation thought. These 4 renunciation thought, as I said the other day, it is the essence of the Buddha's first 2 noble truths. Suffering truth, cause of suffering truth. We're reflecting on that. Once we reflect on that, then what we should do? Then we follow the path truth. And then it will bring the cessation truth. So following path truth is begin to practice. Begin to cultivate the beautiful motivations. With that beautiful motivation, we practice. Dharma exactly as laid out by great kindness teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni, and Guru Padma Samye, all those great masters. That is known as the following the path truths. And that is my brief talk for today. Thank you very much again and for your participating and again coming, and then we continue tomorrow. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much. And now again we do short meditation.